All right, I got a wonderful direct message in my Instagram account from a lady who watches my daily weight pictures. And she says, this is so helpful. She says, I'll see you hit your lowest weight, then your weight pops right back up. And that is when I would have thrown my hands up in frustration and walked away. She says, but then I watch and I see that after your weight creeps back up for 3 or 4 days, it goes back down. And then you're hitting a new low weight. And she's like, this has been mind blowing to me. Like, I have never thought that this is the way that weight loss looks. I never thought that this is how daily weight fluctuations look. And I'm learning so much just looking at your weight photos, your happy scale photos. So I want to use a great analogy that I thought of after I read her direct message on how your weight loss happens. And it's kind of like when we're at the ocean and the tide starts to come in or go out. When the tide, and you've done this, right? You've gone to the beach, you put your chair on the sand. Maybe you're somebody who's trying to avoid getting wet, so you put your chair way back. Maybe you're the kind of person who wants to put your feet in the water, so you go right up to the water's edge. When the tide is coming in or going out, there's not like this miraculous line that forms in the sand. And what happens is it was coming all the way up to your feet. Now it's 3 inches out and it hits that same 3 inches every single time, right? What happens? Well, all of a sudden you notice your feet had been in the water, but now you're noticing the water is not coming completely up, right? It's staying kind of back. And sometimes it's 4 inches back. Sometimes it's 5 inches back. Sometimes it actually still comes up over your feet, but it's much, much more sporadic, right? It's this very slow transition. And I actually really love watching that because it very much to me represents how weight loss happens over time. You'll notice the water comes in, it goes out, but it never really hits the same marker exactly twice, right? Like it's a little bit here, a little bit there, but generally speaking, if I'm watching the water, it's going away from me or it's coming up closer to me depending on what's happening with the tide. That is how weight loss looks. It's like, oh, you just hit 148. Okay, 2 days later, you're 150. The next day you might be 150.2. Then it recedes out a little bit. Now you're 149. And it's just da-doon, 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 in and out, in and out, in and out. But generally speaking, it's moving away from you, right? That's how you want to think about your daily weigh-ins. They are not going to ever hit the same number probably 2-3 times in a row. You're going to see variations in those numbers. But why averages are so helpful, weight averages are so helpful, is because as the water is receding out, right? The amount of distance it's coming in is dropping over time. So whether it splashes over your feet every once in a while, if it's only doing that every 5th round, right, the water is obviously receding out. And that's how you want to think about it. Your weight will not hit this new low number. Let's just say it's 149. It's not going to stay at 149. The next several days, it might shoot back up, just like the tides come in and it splashes over your feet. But then it starts to drift back out again. And the more that you can think of it like that, the less it will produce stress and turmoil for you. Where so many women get frustrated. I'm saying women, I know I probably should include men in this. Men tend to not view the scale as sensitively as women do. My experience, my personal experience. I've coached men and women. Men just have a little bit of a different relationship for the most part. I'm not saying that there isn't that male that might feel more sensitive, but I think women have a little bit more baggage around it. But if you can really wrap your head around that concept of how the tide in the ocean comes in or goes out, and really pay attention to it the next time you go to the beach, really watch how that happens. It's a very gradual transition, and the water every once in a while will still pop back up where it was, but then the majority of it will be pushing itself back out. And that's how you want to think about your weight. It's very much like the tide. We're looking for a general receding, right? And we're looking for the averages to go down, not the day-to-day weight. Focus on the weekly averages. That's going to save your sanity huge. So I hope this little analogy helps. I hope it produces a good visual in your head. If you've been to the beach, you know what I'm talking about. And then thinking about it more on those weekly averages versus daily weights. And when you feel frustrated, you were at your lowest weight 2 days ago, now you're up higher and you want to throw your hands up in frustration and go, this is where I'm going to quit. This is what I want to ask you. If you're doing all the things, the tide is going to go out, right? Like it does its thing. It does its thing its way. The tide is going out. If you're doing all the actions, the weight will transition down over time. What you have to keep in your mind at that moment, what do I control? Do you control the tide? I know I don't. I know I have no ability to control Mother Nature at all. And so you don't control your body either. You don't control how it releases weight. What you do control are your actions that will influence your weight over time. You can track your food. You can eat more fruits and vegetables. You can do all the things, but really the scale is not a very big player in the process of weight loss. Like, it gives you an idea if you're traveling in the right direction, but it is not doing any of the work. And if we were to say, what are some action steps? What are the actions you can do with the scale other than step on it and step off? Step on, step off. Nothing. So it really doesn't even serve any purpose in the weight loss situation other than giving you general guidance on if you are moving in the right direction. So here's what you want to focus on in that moment. What do I have control over? Focus on that. Because just like you can't control Mother Nature, you can't control how your body releases weight. So I hope this message helps you today. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Daisy and I would love it. And please share these videos with anybody you think that would benefit. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.